Okay, race fans, welcome back. Week number 4. Apex this at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. Welcome in. Our drivers are just getting underway for qualifications. And as I mentioned, this is week 4. This is the P Cup series where we feature the Porsche Cup and the Porsche Cayman GT4, two separate classes depending on where our drivers fit in as far as their qualification and rating systems. But we'll get to that very shortly. Guys, let's take a quick look here while we're waiting for some laps to come in through our timing and scoring at our championship standings. First up, we'll take a look at I believe this is the P Cup standings. Yep, there we go. Joseph Yang leading the way on top, 49 points, 2 points ahead of second place Brian Zinn. Brian Lemke, 9 points back of the leader with 40 points, tied with Jason Kinger. We haven't seen Kinger the last two sessions here, so he's dropping down the standings, but tied right now as it stands, 40 points in third spot with Brian Lemke. Kelly Greenhill is going to round out the top 5, and then we see the rest of our top 10 there. Mark Miller, Justin Atchison, Jesse Meager, Richard Swindells, and Christopher Diaz. And then we'll quickly scroll through the remainder here all the way back to 25th place. So we've had 25 drivers so far this season join us for the Porsche Cup side of things. And then let's take a look at our Cayman standings here. Our second class, Porsche GT4 Cayman, and where we see our mid-pack Larry is currently Kent Kruger leading the way around in that class, 54 points over Mark Bray with 49 points, followed by Chris Miller with 42, Spencer Beaudoin 41, Uwe Hale in 5th place with 38 points. We've got Sean Teeter, Tim Havelka, Oz Exulu, Aaron Sunday, Tyler Nevins, and Federico Del Toro rounding out the 11 drivers who have participated in the Cayman class so far. So as I said, we're waiting for our drivers to put in some times. We're starting to see some lap times come around on the board. And we'll take a look here, kind of see where things are shaping out with Brian Zinn currently up top of the Porsche Cup standings, 149.349, just ahead of Mark Miller by 12 hundredths of a second. So real close at the top of the standings. But as I mentioned, we're at Virginia International Raceway, where it is a premier motorsport venue nestled in the heart of Virginia countryside. VIR is known for its stunning scenery and challenging track layout, which we'll see here shortly with our drivers. VIR is among a fan favorite for drivers and fans alike. It spans 3.27 miles of 17 turns, and the circuit offers a thrilling mix of elevation changes and technical sections that test the skills of all who race there. Whether you're a seasoned pro or motorsport enthusiast, VIR hosts a variety of events, from sports car racing as we're seeing tonight, to motorcycle competitions and amateur racing. So we should see plenty of excitement here tonight. VIR, it's one of my personal favorites, and I know it's definitely a favorite of the Apex this league itself. It kind of features most of the seasons that we have it as we're watching Austin Diltz here. Unfortunately for Diltz, having a bit of an issue there through the first part of the section of the track, but we'll hop on board here with Paulo Langer. Paulo currently sitting in 6th in Porsche Cup right now. Strong showing so far for Paulo. We haven't seen him out this season. Paulo is a driver who we've seen in Apex quite a bit the last few seasons, but not so much this season. Paulo's been tied up, but putting in a quick lap as it stands right now. But up top, looks like Joseph Maher has been able to sneak around Brian Zinn, take over top spot in the Porsche Cup class by 6/10. So Joseph Maher really flying out there so far tonight. See if we can pick up Mark Miller here. Mark currently sitting in 3rd spot. He's still only 1/10 back of Zinn, but with that hot lap from Joseph Maher, let's drop the two of them back a little bit here, and they've got some work to make out. Joseph Maher looking strong here this evening. I don't see last week's second place finisher, Joseph Yang, in our current point standings champ, leading the championship in Porsche Cup. So chance for Brian Zinn, Mark Miller, Brian Lemke, all drivers who are at the top of Porsche Cup standings to try and make some moves here this evening. Let's check back in our Cayman class. Currently Oz Exulu sitting on pole there. He's got 2/10 over Sean Teeter and Jonathan Cooper, 2/10 back as well. Only 10 100ths of a second separating Teeter and Cooper. So real tight, and even all the way back to Spencer Beaudoin and Kent Kruger in the top 5, only separated by half a second. So right now our GT4 Cayman field really tight, close on times. See what this Muppet's doing here. Richard Swindells. I don't expect much out of Richard. Really subpar driver. There we see Richard going off track into the barrier. Just as I called it, we see exactly what Richard's good for. I'm just kidding. Richard is my buddy, and we just got to rag on him every now and again. But speaking of buddies, Zippy on the mic, a guy I do broadcasting for all throughout the week. If you want to catch that on, I do races Tuesdays with the aforementioned Richard Swindells, and then Thursdays with Zippy, and Saturdays with Zippy on the Pit Road Productions channel. So if you want to catch us over there doing numerous other leagues. But Morgan Smith, currently 9th spot, just behind Zippy in the GT4 standings. I know Morgan and Daniel are fairly close. They talk quite a bit, so I know Morgan would definitely like to try and pip that spot away from Zippy, but right now sitting at 7/100ths back between them, so real tight battle all throughout the top of our Porsche Cup field. So we're getting close to the end, 30 seconds to go, and then our drivers will be running out of time. But so let's quickly take a look at our schedule. We're waiting for the rest of our time to tick down here. As I mentioned, here we are in week number 4, round 4 at VIR. We've already been to Silverstone, Monza, and Imola, which has produced a lot of great racing. And then next week, we're going to head to Oulton Park, the Britain circuit. I can't remember off the top of my head what the Britain circuit is. I think it omits one of the chicanes, but we'll have to see when we get there next week. And then we head to Royal Atlanta, Spa, Daytona, Red Bull Ring, Interlagos, also known as Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. That's in Brazil. Watkins Glen for round 11, and then round 12 sees us finish up at Laguna Seca WeatherTech Raceway. So a lot of great tracks on the schedule there as timing and scoring is just clicked over. That's going to finish our qualification. So we'll give it a second here to regroup, and then we'll have a look at our grid here. As looks like we should have it popping up here now. There we go. Joseph Marr is going to take pole from Brian Zinn by 4/10. Zinn was able to close that gap a little bit, but not enough to make the move on Marr up towards the top of the pole. Mark Miller is going to start in row 2 in P3. Paul Langer beside him. Austin Diltz in 5th. Wesley Cotnor in 6th. Tony Phillips in 7th. Nice to see Tony back. We haven't seen him for a while. Daniel Simon in 8th. He got ahead of Morgan Smith in 9th. Justin Atchison in 10th. Kelly Greenhoe in 11th. And Roman Bykoff going to start in 12th. And we see Richard Swindells in 13th. Fozzie Fazillo in 14th. Sean Giroux in 15th. Brian Lemke did not put a time in. He's going to start 16th. Same with Christopher Diaz and Donald Mensing. No time from either of them. Starting 17th and 18th. And Paul Bailey in 19th. Then we get into our Porsche Cayman class. Spencer Beaudoin sitting on pole here. He'll have John Cooper to his outside. He'll have Olasek Sulu and Sean Teeter behind them, followed by Kent Kruger, and then Spencer Beaudoin. Mark Bray, Aaron Sunday, Josh Soto, Aaron Law, and Federico Del Toro rounding out the field. So, oops, there we go. Oh man, what is going on here? Why are we showing this? See, there we go. Little bug there for a second. I didn't want to clear our timing and scoring, but there we are. We're looking at Joseph Marr and Brian Zinn on the grid. Just waiting for a few more cars to grid up. Doesn't look like Aaron Law or Federico Del Toro are going to make it to the grid, so unfortunate for them, but we will carry on without them. We'll have to see if they're going to start from the pits maybe later on, but right now, as it stands, our field's starting to pull away behind the Porsche pace car here. See our drivers rolling down the track. Looks like we're doing a partial short pace lap. We're starting on the back straight. So we're heading into what's known as roller coaster. See here the field coming through here. Then we get turn 15 up ahead. And then lastly, last corner on the track called Hog Pen. There's some interesting names of the corners around here at VIR, so we'll see if we can touch on all of them as the race continues on. But right now we're waiting for our field to come around. They'll be waiting for the pace car to duck in. They have to wait for the green flag to drop. There is no going beforehand, so you can see separation between the two classes. We're on here with our Porsche Cup field, heading towards the line, waiting for Barney the flagman to throw the flag out here. And then, well, we're getting underway. He's holding the green flag up. They're waiting for a drop. There it goes. We are off and running for round 4. Porsche Cup. Our driver's heading into turn number 1. Looks like Joseph Mara is going to hold on to the inside line. Zin's going to try and make a move around the outside. Unable to do it, but he's going to try and fight back right now. Mark Miller looking to the inside, trying to take advantage of Zin having to go out a little wide. Zin going to hold off the charge from Miller. Austin Diltz up into 4th place, up 1 spot. He's managed to get around Paula Langer early on. That's going to drop Paula Langer down into 5th. Daniel Zippy Salmon up 2 spots. Great jump for him. He's up just ahead of Wesley Cottonor. He's moved Cottonor and Phillips down 1 spot each. They'll be looking to try and grasp that back as our field heading into the S's for the first time. See them coming up underneath the Michelin tire bridge. Joseph Maher leading the way. So far, the whole field looks like they are single file for the most part. See them coming up. The elevation changes there, up over the curbs. Cars getting airborne. It's like the Cayman class caught right up to the back of the Porsche Cup field very quickly on in this one. So halfway through our first lap, Joseph Meyer holding on to his lead. Looks like he and Zin trying to make a break for it here early. Mark Miller leading that secondary pack round right now. They need to try and reel back in the leaders as the leaders getting a great jump out early on this one. Diltz doing the best he can to try and push Miller forward. Check back a little farther. Looks like Wesley Cottonor, Daniel Salmon, and Paula Langer battling here. It's like Langer had to go a little wide, had to really woe it up. Salmon had to take evasive maneuvers not to tag him. But right now, Wesley Cottonor looking on the back. Oh, Tony Phillips, they touched Cottonor into the barrier. Phillips off track. He gets it gathered up. He's going to get going, but Wesley Cottonor, we'll have to take a look at what happened there. That is not what we'd like to see at the end of lap 1. Tony Phillips kicking off some dirt that he gathered up off the side of the track. I don't see any damage really on the back of Phillips' car, so he should be able to continue on carrying around. But let's see if we can hop on board with Donald Mensing just in behind Tony Phillips. Take a look at the rear end of Tony's car. Doesn't look like I see any damage there, so Tony should be able to carry on as it stands right now. Mensing and Paul Bailey, tail end of our Porsche Cup track. Oh, sure who that was. Christopher Diaz off track. He lost the back of his car right in front of the Cayman class. John Cooper in the red Cayman had to take some evasive maneuvers there not to get into the back of Christopher Diaz. So Cooper leading the way in the P2 of Cayman. That's going to cost him a little bit of time behind our current GT4 leader of Spencer Beaudoin. That little bobble by Diaz allowed Beaudoin to hop up ahead of Cooper and open up that gap. So let's see if we can take a look here at what happened to Christopher Diaz moments ago. Like Diaz coming in, just got a little too much speed coming in, lost the back end of the Porsche. Rear motor cars, it doesn't take a whole lot for the back end to swing around on that like that on him as we just saw. But we'll hop back up here and take a look at our leaders as looks like Mar and Zin still working hard to open up a gap over Mark Miller. Mark Miller's kind of dropped Austin Diltz off the back. Diltz having to deal with Paula Langer now. Langer trying to put a lot of pressure on the back of Austin Diltz in the WBM Porsche. Then they got Daniel Salmon lurking in behind in the Pit Road Productions car. But look at this, Brian Lemke up 9 spots. Lemke didn't put in a time. I'm not sure if that was due to penalties from last week, but Lemke up into P7 after starting way back in 16th place. So nice run for him. As we see up ahead, Paul Langer had to gather his car back up into turn 1, cost him some time. He's feeling some pressure from Daniel Salmon now. Salmon trying to take advantage of Langer going off track. Oh, Langer's going to go off track again. Salmon's going to make that move around. That's going to move Daniel Salmon up into 5th place. Next on his hit list looks like Austin Diltz up ahead. Right now, Langer going to have to deal with Brian Lemke. Lemke, a hard charger at this point in time, up 9 spots. So great run for Brian Lemke as it stands right now. See if we can catch another look at what happened between Tony Phillips and Wesley Cottonor here. As I'm seeing Tony Phillips flagged off track here. I think this could be it. Let's see, they're coming down through Hog Pen. Turn 50. Oh, Phillips got loose as they head towards the line. And unfortunately for Wesley Cottonor, he had nowhere to go here. As we take a look, see Phillips just getting a little loose. Cottonor nowhere to go. And of course, iRacing physics be like that. It just sends the rear car flying as we see Lemke trying to make a move on Langer. As we come back live, Langer able to defend it. Now they're putting pressure on Sam and Langer going, or Lemke going for the crossover maneuver on Langer. Langer fighting back, not ready to give it to him. Like Langer's gonna have the inside line. He's gonna hold on to that. Lemke falling back a little bit off that as he had to bail. It's hard to go 2 cars wide through that section, but they both made it through, but that cost Lemke a little bit of time. As we look just behind them, we've got Morgan Smith trying to chase down Justin Atchison. We've seen Atchison battling with Richard Swindells the last couple of races, but right now Atchison's got himself firmly planted ahead of Swindells. We expected more out of Swindells at this point, so it's really disappointing to see him back in the pack. He's going to love that. A little farther back in the pack, but right now we got a nice battle shaping up here between Sam and Lemke, Langer, Atchison, Smith, and Greenhoe. That's what a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 car pack here from Kelly Greenhoe in 10th place all the way up to 5th place of Daniel Salmon. Although it looks like Lemke finally got that move made on Langer. He was able to hold on to it and keep going. Let's see if we can find that here in a moment, see exactly how Brian Lemke was able to get around Paula Langer. Here's another quick look at see how that worked out. It's like Lemke getting a run on the straight, going to dive down the inside. There he goes. He's going to make that pass stick and stay. Next up, he's going to try and chase down Daniel Salmon. Draw on board with Salmon here. Take a look back as they head down the middle straight. See what kind of draft Brian Lemke gets here. Not quite enough to make a move into a roller coaster there. Looks like Salmon going to hold on to it. You can see that pack of cars there. Fozzie Fazillo not too far back of that pack either. Oh, is Fazillo's just going to go off track there at the top of roller coaster. Fortunate for him, that's not the way. That's not the optimum way through there. He definitely didn't plan for that. But back on board here with Salmon as he's trying to hold off the charge of Brian Lemke. Lemke last time by put in a 150.32 to Salmon's 150.35. Oh, and that they clocked another lap there as they just went by. Lemke 0.6 quicker by Salmon than that time by, so that explains why Daniel Salmon feeling a ton of pressure off the back of Brian Lemke now. Lemke towing Paula Langer along for the ride too, as well as they've opened a bit of separation over Justin Atchison, Morgan Smith, and Kelly Greenhoe. And behind this battle is kind of pulling away as they've got their own little secondary battle back there now. Let's take a look back here in our GT4 field as we've got Jonathan Cooper. Coop was up in 2nd place. He's lost a spot to Joshua Soto as Soto's gotten around Jonathan Cooper. Cooper's going to fall back to 3rd place, still up 2 spots from where he qualified. So strong showing for Coop so far. We haven't seen Coop out this season in this class on the Sunday nights. So good to see Coop back. He's usually out in the GT4 Cayman when it's featured in one of the series, but he's got our championship leader right now in Cayman class, Kent Kruger. Kent's championship rival right now is Mark Bray. Kent up 2 spots on Mark Bray. So nice potential points haul for Kent Kruger over his competition in 2nd spot right now. Mark Bray 2 spots back. Aaron Sunday separating those 2 drivers. Let's go on board with Kent Kruger as he's making his way into the corner's still called Oak Tree, but Oak Tree is no more. RIP. It'd be nice if they took and planted a nice big oak a little farther inboard of the track, just in commemorative memory. But, we see Kent Kruger, see Jonathan Cooper, Josh Soto, and Spencer Beaudoin not too far up ahead there, but they are a little bit ahead of Kent. He's got some work to do to chase them back down. But let's jump back up here on this battle we were featuring earlier, as looks like Justin Atchison just went off track a little behind that secondary battle. Looks like he and Morgan Smith, there might have been a little bit of contact there. We'll see if we can catch something in a moment here. But back up to the battle is Daniel Salmon trying to hold off Brian Lemke and Paula Langer. Okay, it does look like something happened between Atchison and Morgan Smith. Let's take a look here. Atchison in the Gulf paint screen car, Morgan Smith in WBM machine. Looks like Atchison goes off on his own, and looks like Morgan Smith just kind of gives him the old sympathy follow there along with them. Let's take a look and see directly what happened to Smith. I don't think he got tagged by Kelly Greenhoe in behind. I think it was just a similar incident to Justin Atchison. Yeah, they both just kind of went off track. Kelly Greenhoe is going to say thanks for those 2 spots. Now I'm going to go try and chase down that pack up ahead. As it looks like Kelly Greenhoe has already gotten around Paula Langer. What is going on here? Paula Langer with another off track. See what happened to Langer? Was he trying to put pressure on? He was trying to hang with Lemke and Salmon a little too hot through that corner. Allows Greenhoe to get by, but while that was all happening, we were taking a look at the replays. Brian Lemke was able to get around Daniel Salmon. So we'll see if we can take a look at what happened there. Here's a replay of that. So Lemke getting a run as they head into the S's. Looks like Salmon's just going to kind of back out, let him have it. Oh, they touched a little bit and through there. Going to bump and bind. But both make it through. Well, relative escape. Salmon tries to show the nose through there, trying to fight back. But looks like Lemke held on to that spot. And in behind them, Fozzie Fazillo with another off track here. Unfortunate for Fozzie, he was starting to close in on that battle up ahead. Then we saw him have a little bit of an incident in through roller coaster, and it looks like again through that same section. This keeps it off the wall, but unfortunately for him, that's going to cost him a ton of time. Let's check back in the front of the pack here. Is in falling off the back of Joseph Mara. He's now got Mark Miller sneaking up behind him. Miller really closing that gap on he and Zim. To head up in through the S's, you can hear the downshift through there. Another downshift into 4th gear. Down the hill into Old Oak Tree. We'll see if Miller is close enough to get a run through the old back straight to make a move into roller coaster. So Miller tucked in the draft, but it doesn't appear he's going to get enough of a run up the hill to make a move on Zin, or if he does, it's really going to have to be a real dive. You know, Zin's going to hold on to that spot as it stands, but just behind them, Austin Dilt's really starting to close in too as well, with Miller and Zin as they continue to put a little pressure on themselves. So as Zin's fallen off the back of Joseph Mara, that's allowed Mark Miller and Austin Diltz to close that gap. So we here on board with Diltz. See him charging after those 2 Porsche Cup cars up ahead. Zin leading the way, trying to hold off the charge of Mark Miller into turn 1. Looks like Miller's going to have to hold on for another opportunity, as Zin got a much better run through the final corner, was able to open up a couple tenths over Mark Miller. Just take a look back here. Daniel Salmon and Paul Langer, Kelly Greenhoe just in behind. Brian Lemke, now that he got around Salmon and Langer, are starting to pull away a little bit. This is the battle for 6th place, currently held by Daniel Salmon. Paul Langer would like to take that away from him. We've seen Paulo with a couple off-track excursions. He's going to want to clean that up if he wants to put some pressure on the back of Daniel Salmon. With Kelly Greenhoe lurking in behind, Kelly might be in the best spot right now. If these two really get hot and heavy as far as the battling, Kelly might be able to take advantage of that as we go on board with Kelly, kind of see what he's having to look at up ahead. As they head around the corner and then down the little dip and into Oak Tree. More or less a blind corner. You really can't see the far left curbing until you get into the corner. Get yourself gathered up down the straight and away you go. See if Langer gets a run on Daniel Salmon here to make a move. Looks like he's too far back at this point in time. Langer not going to be able to make a move into roller coaster. He's going to have to try and find another way around. Take a look here. Christopher Diaz and Sean Giroux. It's the battle for 15th place, currently held by Giroux. Diaz trying to make a move on that position. Tucked in tight on the rear bumper. Giroux trying to hold him off. Diaz is going to try and go around the outside. He'll have the What's going on here? All right, sorry, I lost my mic there for a second. Diaz will have the inside for the next corner. He makes that move. Giroux bails out, allows him to have it. But that is more or less how you make the move there on the back straight. Nicely done by Christopher Diaz. Up ahead now, Paul Bailey. We'll see if Diaz is able to run him down. Take a look here at this Muppet, Richard Swindells. Not much to see here. Very disappointing run for Swindells. His pit crew is going to be very disappointed. They might ask for their money back for loaning him the car, but right now Swindells holding down 11th place. Just up ahead of him, Tony Phillips. Tony not out of danger yet. He might have Swindells lurking in behind him. Swindells a little quicker lap last time by. So we'll see if he's able to snake down Tony Phillips up ahead and put some pressure on him. But Justin Atchison and Morgan Smith up ahead. We saw the two of them kind of go off track in tandem. Atchison was able to come back on ahead of Smith, but since then Morgan Smith has made the move around Justin Atchison. It looks like Daniel Sammons went off track while he was battling Paul Langer. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Salmon. It's like, oh, he's just going to drop the tires heading down that last corner into Oak Tree. Unfortunately for Paul Langer, there was nowhere for him to try and make a maneuver around there. Just have to hope for another mistake by Zippy Salmon to make that move. It's still our closest battle on track right now between Salmon, Langer, and Greenhoe. Greenhoe still sitting in the capper spot. Something were to happen between the two of them, although it looks like it's settled down. They're not quite pushing as hard as they were before. They've kind of found a comfortable pace. Looks like Kelly Greenhoe is going to get around Langer. Langer going wide into turn 1, 2, but he's fighting back on the inside. Greenhoe on the outside is going to have to give up that spot as Langer has a preferred line into the next corner, but then he's going to go wide again. Greenhoe looking to the inside. Greenhoe locks up the right front. See the smoke pulling off there. Langer going over the curb. Tight battle between these two. You'll love to see it. No touching, no bumping. Just some good hard racing there. And they both kind of stay in the position they were in, but there was a quick little position change here and there and then alternated back. So tight battling between these two. As you see, John Cooper, he's caught up to the back of Spencer Beaudoin. That's a battle for second spot in Cayman GT4 class. Spencer up one spot from where he qualified. Cooper up one spot, but Joshua Soto up front. He is up 9 spots from where he qualified in the Cayman GT4 class. So nice run by Josh Soto so far. Kind of running away with this one. He's not only gotten around Spencer Beaudoin, but he's opened up a 6-second gap. So real nice showing by Josh Soto, but he is rated at 4.2 KI rating. So fortunately for Spencer Beaudoin and Jonathan Cooper, as far as the mid-pack Larry GT4 standings go, they are the top point getters in that class. And back a little further, we got a battle between Aaron Sunday and Kent Kruger. Looks like Kent currently holding down. What is Kent here? He is in 4th place in the Cayman GT4 class, which is theoretically 3rd place, as his, as I mentioned, Josh Soto's points won't actually count towards the class that they're in. So he's trying to hold off Aaron Sunday, as he's now got Aaron Sunday and Oz Exulu between he and Mark Bray. Mark Bray is our 2nd place in the GT4 Cayman class, currently led by Kent Kruger, the championship standings. They've got Donald Mensing in the Porsche Cup car up ahead. Donald lapping not much faster than what the Cayman cars were this time by. I'm not sure if Don had an off track last time by, but only running a 155. We got Cayman's running 156, so Don's going to need to pick up the pace there to pull ahead from the Cayman class. Otherwise, he's going to get embroiled in this battle here shortly. So we got cars starting to come in to take their service. Looks like Paulo Langer was the first one in to take service. No need for tires, just fuel as usual. It's a short little 35-minute sprint race. Just a quick little top up of fuel, and away we go as Brian Zinn's now pulled away from Mark Miller. We saw Mark Miller had closed up on the back of Zinn. Was starting to put some pressure, but Zinn found a little more pace out there, putting in the quickest lap of the day, 48.68, and to Joseph Mars 48.90 last time by. So as their fuel load drops down, they've only got a little bit of fuel left in the tank to go, and they'll be coming in shortly for pit cycles here, as we're now at the 20-minute mark, so 15 minutes to go in this one. Fuel load starting to get low. We've got Morgan Smith in for fuel too as well, so expect to see more and more of the field popping in here as Chris Diaz is now caught up to the back of Fozzie Fazzillo. It's a battle of a couple of cars that we've seen have some interesting incidents early on. Both of them kind of went off track a little bit. See if Diaz is able to make the move around Fazzillo. He goes to the inside. Fazzillo going to try and fight back on the outside. Diaz will have the preferred line into turn one. He's going to hold on to that spot. That's going to drop Fazzillo back into 12th. Oh no, and Diaz wiggles. He loses that spot. Fazzillo takes it back. We'll have to see if Diaz is able to mount another charge back to take that position away. But right now, Mark Miller having to deal with Austin Diltz. Diltz 3/10 back of Miller. So low fuel, not faring well for Mark Miller. Mark Miller was looking quick on a heavier fuel load in that car, but as it's burned off the last few laps, his lap times have dropped off with it. Check back in this battle for second place in GT4. Baudouin still leading Cooper around. Haven't seen any of our GT4 cars come in for service yet, as far as I can see. Oh, looks like, sorry, Mark Bray has just come in for service. So he's our only GT4 driver that's come in for service. So we'll see how that works out for Mark once the rest of the GT4 cars come in. But this battle for second place, Coop trying to get close enough to put a maneuver on Spencer Baudouin. I believe these two might be buddies, if I remember correctly. A couple Canadians out. I believe they're both out in the, I want to say Midwest, somewhere in Manitoba, Saskatchewan area, if I remember correctly. If not, I'm sure they will let me know. But right now, Baudouin holding off the charge of Jonathan Cooper. See Cooper back there. Actually, John Cooper Electric, Spencer Baudouin rocking Coop's company on his rear wing for advertisement. So how's that for a buddy for you? So we've got, what are we at? The 23-minute mark. So we got about, oh, Donald Mensing, a bit of a menace with that battle in Cayman class. Oh, Mensing going to go off track. He was trying to dive around at the last second. Unfortunately, locked up the rear tires. He had to bail into the grass to make sure he didn't get into the back of either one of those Cayman cars. Unfortunate for Donald Mensing, but looks like he was able to hold on to it for the most part. We look back up here. Lemke starting to feel some pressure from Daniel Salmon. Salmon starting to close that gap down again, as we saw Lemke, once he finally got around, Daniel Salmon was able to leg out a bit of a gap over Salmon, but Salmon's starting to close that back down now. We'll see if that works into some kind of battle here shortly. But we're still waiting for both of these drivers to come in and get their service done. But while we do that, let's take a brief moment to talk about our sponsor for this season. Apex Sim Racing is sponsoring this entire season and the broadcasts. So thank you, Apex Sim Racing. You'll find Apex Sim Racing for immersive racing gear. They carry Cube Controls, Momo, Moza Racing, Saybelt, Sigma Integrale, Sim Magic, OBP, Motorsport, OMP, Rich D, PC, and their own Apex Racing sim brands. You can find a link on the Apex This iRacing page, and that'll get you a nice little discount at Apex Sim Racing gear. So again, thank you, Apex Sim Racing, for coming on board and sponsoring this season. We appreciate it. I know the racers appreciate it. We hope to see you back again next season. And we get back to the action here, as we're still focusing on the battle between Daniel Zippy Salmon and Brian Lemke, although I had mentioned the Salmon was closing the gap the last couple laps on Salmon, but he's fallen back a couple tenths here. But up front, Zinn closing in on Joseph Marr. Marr with a much slower lap time last time by, 149.38 to Zinn's 148.74. So we're still waiting for both these drivers to come in and get their fuel. They're going to be running on real light fuel loads as it stands right now. So we'll see if they pop in this time or if they got another lap in them. Looks like they're still confident they have another lap of fuel in the tank with under 10 minutes to go, just over 9 minutes to go in this one. They've got some traffic coming up ahead. I'm not sure if it was the wisest to try and go another lap here, but to go on board here with Brian Zinn, see what they have a look at. So you see the GT4 car of Aaron Sunday on the outside. They make a maneuver around him. They've got that battle we were looking at earlier with Jonathan Cooper up ahead. Looks like Cooper has stayed out to go another lap, but Spencer Beaudoin dropped in to take some fuel. Actually, I'm not even seeing Spencer Beaudoin. No, Cooper dropped in for his service. Beaudoin has stayed out. I was reading that backwards. So Jonathan Cooper was trying for the undercut here. He's going to try and move around Spencer Beaudoin. See what can happen. See if it works out for Coop. Oh no, a correction. Jonathan Cooper did not service his car yet. Cooper had an off track. Let's see what happened to Coop. He's going to drop a couple tires into the grass. Fortunately, he doesn't spin the car. He's going to do a little bit of lawn maintenance out there, cutting the grass. But you see, Kent Kruger pulls in behind him. He's going to take that spot away. That's going to drop Cooper back into, what is he, about fourth in class? That's where Kent Kruger was, I believe. So unfortunate for Cooper, fourth place. We'll see how it shapes out for him as it carries on. But back to this battle up front. Zinn putting some pressure on Joseph Marr. Marr doing the best he can to try and hold Zinn off. I suspect we have to probably see them come in and get service this time by. I don't think they'll have much more fuel in the tank at this point in time. You see Joseph Marr pulling in for his service. Looks like Zinn going to go around one more time. So we'll see if Zinn's got enough fuel in the tank to really push. What he wants to do here is try and put in an absolute blistering lap to try and leapfrog Joseph Marr in service. As we see the majority of the rest of our Porsche Cup field coming into pits. There's Mark Miller, Austin Diltz just in behind him, Brian Lemke and Daniel Salmon, Kelly Greenhoe into as well. Looks like Justin Atchison's going to come in. Tony Phillips, see if he pops in to get some service this time by too as well. So he's holding tight to the curb. Yep, he's coming in. Swindell's coming in. Morgan Smith, I believe, was our early pit stopper. So we'll see how Morgan's undercut plays out as he's coming through the final sector now and he's about to cross the start finish line. So we'll see what spots he's able to pick back up in this one. Right now, he should be able to leapfrog Phillips. Atchison, he has done that now. Kelly Greenhoe is back out on track, so just up ahead, not too far there. Kelly Greenhoe up 4 spots on the day. Morgan Smith up 1 spot too as well. So right now, it looks like the undercut hasn't really worked out for Morgan Smith as Kelly Greenhoe was able to stay out ahead of him. We got Mark Miller and Austin Diltz both back on track. They kind of came back on exactly where they went into the pits, nose to tail, but they've got Joseph Marr not too far up ahead of them. They got to work around the GT4 of Spencer Beaudoin. Spencer is not really going to want to get tied up in their battle there. He wants them to go by as quick as possible. Fortunately for them, they're going to have to wait a little bit into Oak Tree. That's going to allow Joseph Marr, who got around Spencer Beaudoin much earlier, a little bit of time to open up the gap. And you can see there, he's now opened up 2.2 seconds over them as our leader Brian Zinn coming in to service his car. Joseph Marr heading up the back straight into roller coaster. I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch Zinn. I think Zinn might have made the smart move here. 1 extra lap worth of fuel. Look like it's going to work out for him. Zinn in his pit stall now. Pick up Joseph Marr into the final corner. It's going to be real tight. Zinn still in his stall. He's exiting his stall now, but he has cold tires heading down the front straight. He's going to hold on to P1. He's going to leapfrog Joseph Marr through pit strategy. Right now, looks like Brian Zinn has made the wise choice. Let's take a look at their pit stop times. 32.6 for Zinn to 36.1 for Joseph Meyer. So Joseph with a extremely slow pit stop time. I'm not sure if he took too much fuel on that one, but he looks like he's a good 3 seconds slower than the rest of our field in Porsche Cup. Looks like the rest of our field pretty much in the 33-second time zone. Some high 32s, some mid 33s for the most part. So Joseph Meyer a couple seconds longer. So we'll have to see if he's able to chase down Brian Zinn, but he's only got 4.5 minutes to go. Time is the enemy of Joseph Meyer right now. As we pick back up, Mark Miller and Austin Diltz still battling it out. Miller holding off Diltz as it stands right now. The battle we looked at earlier, Fazillo and Diaz, they're still fighting it out back here. Diaz has gotten around Fazillo, but Fazillo not ready to let him go as Diaz goes a little wide around there. It's going to allow Fazillo to close that gap back up again. Looks like Jonathan Cooper. Oh, he's going to make a move around Isaac Sulu. Isaac Sulu goes off track. He's hopping and jumping through the grass. That's going to move Cooper back up into 5th spot. Oh, does Jonathan Cooper have another off track? He was in 4th last time we had a look at him, but rough day as it shapes out for Coop. I think it might have been just through the pit cycles. So he was able to get back up into that spot. As Diaz and Fazillo still going at it. It's like Fazillo went in a little deep last time by, as we see Brian Lemke making a move around Justin Atchison. It's going to move him up into P8. It's like Lemke, I'll have to take a look at Brian Lemke's pit stop time. He was battling Daniel Salmon. Salmon currently in 5th spot, Lemke in 8th. Let's take a look here. Lemke's last lap, 2:15.5. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Brian Lemke here. He might have had a bit of an off-track excursion for him, but not seeing anything pop up at the moment, but we'll keep looking. But let's go see what's going on here with Mark Miller and Austin Diltz. Austin Diltz has fallen off the back. Oh no, something happened to Austin Diltz. He's fallen off the back of Mark Miller. Let's see here. We got too much going on at once. All of our drivers are just letting it go at the end. Not seeing any flagged here for Austin Diltz. Oh, here we go. Here's what happened to Austin Diltz. He had an off track following Mark Miller. So he tried to make a move around the outside. Oh, he just locks up the front tires. Keeps it off the tire barrier, though. It's a nice save there for Austin Diltz, but still not seeing anything for Brian Lemke, unfortunately. It's like Lemke might have just lost it on pit strategy here. Let's see what his pit stop time was. 23.9. Wonder if Lemke made 2 stops. It might have caused him to drop back, but right now Dilt's back on track, but he's got Daniel Salmon behind him. Salmon up 3 spots into P5, closing down that gap on Dilt's into turn 1. We got just over a minute and a half to go. Let's pick up where our leader is. Brian Zinn heading on the back straight into the S's. Sean Giroux on the back straight now. Let's check in on our GT4 leader, Joshua Soto. Heading into the S's. He's got our P2 in Porsche Cup. Joseph Meyer moving around on the inside. Aaron Sunday off track. He's doing a little lawn maintenance out there for the groundskeeping crew. Jonathan Cooper's got Isaac Sulu on his back bumper again. It's about, oh, they got Donald Mensing off on track on the inside. Looks like Donald's able to gather it up. Not have to slide back on track. But Cooper's starting to pull away from Isaac Sulu. It's a battle for 4th place. We saw Cooper drop down into 5th. We had that off-track excursion that allowed Xulu to get by him. Then we saw Xulu have to do a little bit of lawn maintenance. That allowed Cooper to get back by. So these two just tossing it back and forth between the two of them. field pretty much spread out now here after the pit cycles. Not much for battles going on, but check back in our leader here. Brian's in. It should be a final lap. There we go. Barney's got the white flag out. Checkered flag waving now for Brian Zinn. There we go. Zinn is going to take the win. Joseph Meyer is going to come home second. Mark Miller in third. Looks like Austin Dilt's going to hold off the charge from Daniel Salmon in fourth. Salmon's going to come home fifth, up 3 spots. Kelly Greenhoe sixth, up 5 spots. Nice run for him. Morgan Smith's going to recover to seventh. Check in our leader here in GT4, Joshua Soto. Oh, he's already come across the line. Spencer Beaudoin is going to bring it home, P2, but that'll give him P1 points. Kent Kruger just ahead of Jonathan Cooper and Ozek Sulu battling to the line. Mark Bray and we got Donald Mensing might need a part-time job as landscaper here tonight. He's cut more grass than they have in the past month. Mark Bray is going to cross the line here now. He's got Aaron Sunday a little ways behind him. So you see Aaron Sunday here now. The last car we're looking to have across the line heading into Hog Pen. Once he crosses, we should be more or less official. Oh no, Aaron is on the back straight now. He's still got a ways to go. So we'll see our podium here as we got Daniel Salmon doing donuts just ahead of him. Looks like Brian Zinn has already checked out. There's Wesley Cottonor across the line. Nice run for him. Sean Drew and Paul Bailey on their cool down lap. Let's check in with Aaron Sunday. There we go. Sunday heading to the line, and then we will be official. Aaron Sunday going to bring it home 24th overall, 7th in class. So nicely done. That will make our standings official. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here first at the Porsche Cup standings. So you see Brian Zinn brought it home in first place. 4 seconds up on Joseph Barr and Mark Miller in third. Austin Diltz just off the podium in fourth. Daniel Salmon in fifth. Kelly Greenhoe in sixth. Morgan Smith in seventh. Brian Lemke in eighth. Justin Atchison in ninth. Tony Phillips in 10th. Richard Swindells in 11th. Fozzie Fazillo 12th. Christopher Diaz in 13th. Wesley Cottonor 14th. Paul Bailey in 15th. Sean Drew in 16th. And then we have a couple lap down cars of Donald Mensing, Paulo Langer, and then we got Roman Bykov as well. So next up, let's take a look at our results for the Cayman class. As we saw, Joshua Soto bring home the win, Spencer Beaudoin in second, Kent Kruger in third, Jonathan Cooper in fourth, Ozek Sulu in fifth, Mark Bray sixth, Aaron Sunday seventh, Sean Teeter in eighth, Aaron Law and Federico Del Toro did not grid up. So there we go. That was the race here. Let's do some interviews. Looks like we've got first up in the booth. We've got Brian Zinn. We'll bring Zinn in here shortly. We'll get Zinn queued up and have a chat with our race winner, Brian Zinn. Zinn, welcome in. Look, you had a strong race here. Looks like pit strategy kind of got you out front with 5 minutes to go, and you were not looking back at that point.
Yeah, like I told Joseph when we were chatting after the race, I was kind of fuel saving early on and seeing that I was real close to going an extra lap. And then I saw the GT4's pit, and Joseph was behind Spencer going to the pits. And I was like, I got to risk this to try and get an extra lap. And was able to fuel save just enough. I sputtered into my pit box, and I think that little bit of clean air versus traffic was the difference there. And Not sure if that was the reason. Looks like Joseph was about 3 seconds longer in the pit, so I don't know if he took more fuel or just was slower behind the traffic. But yeah, that seems like the difference in the end.
Yeah, Joseph was a 36.1 to your 32.6 in the pits. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he took too much fuel or what. Definitely, that's not enough time to change tires. So, it was just merely a math calculation error. But I was going to ask if it looked like you were fuel saving, but you just mentioned that you were trying to save some fuel early on. Did you do much practice here this week for VIR? I know I tried a number of Porsche Cup races this week, and I got killed in 90% of them in the first set of corners. So it was nice to see you guys didn't have a pile up into turn one, but much practice put in, or you just kind of wing it?
I mean, I did a little bit of offline practice, just got used with where the breaking points were and stuff like that. But other than that, I didn't even attempt the officials. The official Porsche Cup races are usual wreck fests at either tracks with elevation or tracks with long straightaways followed by tight corners. So I instead, for some reason, felt Long Beach was a better official series for me this week. I don't know, but no, I just did some offline testing and then was able to hop in with about 30 or 45 minutes left in practice here and just put in laps.
Excellent. Next week we head to Olton Park. Looks like the Britain's layout. Can't remember which chicane that doesn't include, but how you feeling about next week? That's a real tight track,
Uh,
no real runoffs there.
yeah. Me and Knowlton haven't gotten along in the past, so that's going to be an interesting combination, especially trying to pass GT4s around there. It's going to be a lot of laps because it's a short lap time. But yeah, I something about the British tracks just never gotten along with the Moulton, Brands Hatch, Silverstone's kind of okay, but that's a modern track by the other comparisons. So we'll see how it goes. It was nice to at least get a couple of back-to-back wins in my pocket and climb up the standings after the disaster of Silverstone in round one.
Yeah, well, congrats. Best of luck next week, and we're gonna have a chat with a few other guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, you guys.
Bro, take care. All right, that was Brian Zinn. Let's bring in our GT4, I guess mid pack Larry winner, as Joshua Soto doesn't count. Spencer Beaudoin, congrats on your P2 finish, which I guess is actually going to turn into a P1 for point standings. Strong showing out there. Look like you and Coop are battling for quite a bit until he had looks like a little bit of an off track, and then you were kind of released from him. How'd you see your race go? Oh, Spencer. Spencer, can you hear us? Nope.
There we go. There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Yeah. It was very. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you. Go ahead.
All right.
Did you?
Oh,
Okay. Oh, I was saying it looked like you and Coop had a great battle going until he had.
I think I'm listening to our YouTube thing right now.
Yeah, Spencer, can you hear me? All right, we'll move Spencer back into the waiting room there, and we'll see if we can get his mic figured out. Let's bring Daniel Zippy Salmon in. Zippy, hell of a race out there. You were embattled for the most part from start to finish. You were battling with
Sorry,
Paul.
I'm having a hard time hearing you at the minute.
You're having a hard time hearing me.
That's better. Now I can hear you. What? Run that by me again. What are you asking me?
I said, why did you suck so much out there today? But no, I said, it looked like you were having a good battle between yourself, Langer, Lemke, Greenhoe for a little bit, Morgan Smith too as well. And it looked like you were able to prevail out of all of them up into fifth place. So well done. How'd your race go?
Honestly, I was surprised with the qualifying pace I have. That was definitely a bit of a shocker. And I'm like, okay, sweet. And then I got to admit, it was a balls to the wall move in turn one, sending it down the outside, past two cars. Wesley, I got to say, power to him. He was definitely not interested in playing chicken, and him backing out definitely made that a little bit more feasible. But I then had a good battle and with Polo, and the only downside was when he locked up going up the roller coaster on lap one, we then lost the pack, and that was it. They checked out, but fantastic battle. Definitely a bit amused. As soon as I saw Brian go past that Cayman on pit exit, I'm thinking, he might get dinged for that. And yep, lo and behold, he did. So Thank you very much, pit exit lines for that P5.
I was trying to figure out what happened to Lemke there because it wasn't flagging on the system, but that explains it there. But yeah, you were I guess the what was I going to call it? I guess you won the battle of the gladiators. I guess you had to fend off numerous charges from Langer, Lemke, and Morgan Smith. I was actually making a comment that when you guys were qualifying, that you would have wanted to qualify ahead of Morgan. Otherwise, you're going to hear you wouldn't hear the end of it, and you just pipped him in qualifying. So I guess you'll have the upper hand as far as bragging rights go. But next week we head to probably one of your favorite tracks, Olton in
Oh,
jolly old England.
Rhode
How do
Island?
you feel about that one? No, Olton
England?
Park.
Oh, okay, I like Alton. Yeah, Alton's pretty good. It depends on if it's layout with chicanes or not. With these and with chicanes, I could see that being murder.
It says Olton without Britain, so I'm not sure if that
Okay, I
eliminates
think
one
that
or both
drops
of the
one
chicanes.
chicane, but
Okay.
qualifying actually, the first lap, there was 3 of us like this. There was a 50.303, 50.304, and a 50.305. Myself, Kelly, and Tony Phillips. Literally, if we'd just gone off lap 1. So the racing was incredibly close. But certainly Alton Park, I got a feeling that's going to be a lot more challenging in these cars. It's certainly the chicanes, especially if there is one. I'm sure there's one chicane. I think it's the first one it's going to cut, and then the second one you'll have that before you go through that right-hander where you kind of got to cut it. But I'll definitely race that one. That's a princess-approved track. As soon as you said it was one of my favorites, I figured you meant Road Atlanta, and I'm like, yes.
That's
Alton
later in the
Park's still pretty
schedule. I
good.
think Road Atlanta is the week after.
Perfect. Well, you know what I'll be doing that week.
Well, congrats, Zippy. I've got to go talk to a couple other guys here. Best of luck next week.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me.
Later. All right, that was Daniel Zippy Salmon. Let's talk to Joseph Marr, our leader for the most part of the race until pit stops. Joseph, what happened there? Looks like you're about 3 seconds longer through the pit cycle than everybody else.
Yeah, I got stuck behind GT4 traffic going in and coming out of the pit, and that's what Brian needed to get ahead.
Oh, okay, that explains it there. I was looking at the pit stop times, and I knew it wouldn't be tires because it would have taken a lot more time than that just to take even 2 tires. So that explains it there. We had the pace through the most part. Looks like Brian started to really put the pressure on a couple laps before he came in for pit cycle. Was that you just trying to back off and save a little more fuel, or was he just actually catching up on pace?
Yeah, I was backing off a hint to make the laps work out on fuel, and so I gave up a little bit of time there.
Nice. I had mentioned to Brian that I think I ran 5 of these Porsche Cup races this weekend, officials, and got killed 4 out of the 5 races by the end of the first lap. So it was nice to see that you guys got through fairly clean lap 1. But next week we head to Olton Park, the Britain's layout. My understanding is I believe it omits the first chicane, so we'll still have the second chicane. How are you feeling about taking the Porsche Cups there in a multi-class race?
I think I'm gonna definitely have to do some practice because I don't know if I've driven that track much at all.
Oh, uh, I'm surprised. Usually everybody's driven it as it's now one of the free rookie tracks. I thought everybody was in touch with Olton, so you're in for a real treat. It's one of my more favorite tracks, but it's anytime it's there in multi-class, it's difficult. So you're definitely going to want to get some laps in this week, Joseph. But congrats on the P2. We hope to see you back up top again next week as you're right in the thick of the championship battle, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks. I was rookie close to 15 years ago, and I don't think it was in the rotation at that point.
Yeah, you're probably right. True enough. Take care, Joseph. Best of luck
All
next
right,
week.
thank you.
That was Joseph Marr. Let's bring Mark Miller in here quick. Mark, congrats on your P3 finish. Looked like you had some pressure from Austin Diltz for the last half of the race. You were able to hold him off and kind of hold on to final step on the podium. How'd your race go?
Yeah, that was pretty lucky. He clearly had a lot more pace than me, but I was like, I'm just gonna drive my line and we'll see what happens. He had made a couple mistakes earlier, so that was the only thing I could be banking on. But yeah, I guess he had a lockup there pretty late in the race, and that was all she wrote. So I will take it. First podium. My computer actually worked for 35 minutes, and I didn't have to leave the race. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I didn't see any connection issues from you this week, which is a nice. We've seen you kind of having spotty blinking
Yeah.
in the last few weeks. So well done. Next week we head to Alton Park. How you feeling about taking the Porsche Cup there, multi-class racing?
Yeah, I mean, that should be interesting. I mean, I know Alton Park well, of course, but just from like MX5s and Skippies, you know. So, yeah, the P Cup around there, I'm sure is going to be quite different, let alone multi-class. So, but it should be fun. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Excellent. Well, best of luck to you next week, Mark. A couple other guys here still waiting. I'm going to try and get to them quickly, and we hope to see you
Appreciate
up top again next week. Good luck.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We got Spencer Beaudoin this time. Spencer, we're trying you again. Spencer?
I can't
Oh.
hear you, but
All right, does look like we got him. Let's bring in the big dog, Chief Admin Kent Kruger. Kent, hell of a race. You had some battles here and there, but it kind of looks like after the pit stops, you kind of found yourself a clean bit of track and you were able to just kind of drive home to third spot. I guess that's going to be a second once the points are all totaled out, because Josh Soto, I guess, is falling under the non-mid-pack Larry class.
It was a good race. Sitting in P1, but Spencer is back there. He always comes in hard towards the end. So he beat me. Let's see. The BMW. Yeah, the BMW last season. He won, I think, and he in the last race came in and took that position from me. So I think he's on par to do that again this race. I won the first race. He's won the last three. So, arg.
He lets you get a little bit of a false sense of security out front before he comes and snatches it away. But
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, he's just, if he doesn't have an accident or something, he usually finishes P1. So I'm just hoping somebody wrecks it.
we saw Coop back again this week. Him and Coop were battling for a little bit until they had a little bit of an off, but I suspect that the two of them were trying to chase you down. But it didn't look like we had too much interaction between the GT4s and the Porsche Cups that really fared any kind of real time slowing for the most part. There was a little bit here and there where Porsche Cup car might have had to wait a second or two at a corner to make a maneuver around. But next week we're heading to Alton Park, Britain's Layout. My understanding is that's without the first chicane, but still with the second chicane. So what are you expecting to see next week? Multi-class racing with these two cars.
I've raced there, but I don't remember it. So until I go practice it, I don't even remember what it's like. So I'm an old guy. So hey.
It's your typical old style British track, tight, no real runoffs. So it'll be interesting to see. I suspect it may be carnage.
As long as they don't get too impatient, we should be fine. I mean, but honestly, the tracks we've had so far have been pretty easy for them to get around us. So I don't know, when you throw in a track like sounds narrow and difficult to pass, that's a recipe for chaos. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, big dog, I've gotten through everybody else here. We did a little plug for Apex Sim Racing. Anybody you want to shout out here as the admin before we let you go?
Nope. Apex Sim Racing is fantastic. I think they're about to send out a newsletter to talk about us a bit. So I'm curious to see what that brings to the league. But nope, it's just, if anybody's watching this that isn't part of the league or hasn't raced with us, do it. Good times.
Always recruiting. Always recruiting.
All right.
Best of luck,
Thanks, Rob.
Kent. We'll see you next week. Okay, that was the big dog, Kent Kruger. And now we're done our interviews. Now it's time to get to the fun part. The last driver sounded super hot, Sir Zippy. We got Daniel Salmon saying he sounds hot with that new haircut that he was sporting on the weekend. Thinks he's cat's ass now. Let's see here. Let's go through the chaos theory. I need to make a stinger for chaos theory. I think it was Tony Phillips and it was Wesley Cottonor, I believe, kicked us off with this one. Oh, we need to go back to full speed. Here we go. Heading through Hogpen into the final corners. Phillips gets a little loose. Cottonor tags him. He heads off into the wall. So that was from Phillips' angle. Let's see if we can pick up Cottonor. Hold on here. Where is Wesley Cottonor? There we go. Let's see what happened to him because iRacing was just... iRacing did Wesley dirty. Why they would send his car flying off like that after that tiny little tap, I have no idea, but fortunate for him. Spencer figured out a sand issue. Great to hear, Spencer. Hopefully we catch you up on the podium again next week. It's Christopher Diaz off track. Spins it. He came back on right in the thick of the Cayman field. They had to all skedaddle. It's like Spencer Bodway and Jonathan Cooper were able to get around. But unfortunately, the rest of the pack had to really slow up. So that was beneficial for Bodway and Cooper. Josh Soto. See what happened here to Soto. Oh, he just had to go off track to get around Diaz. Roman Bykov had an early off track. I was wondering what happened to Bykov. He was in this battle behind Greeno. Off track. Oh, there's a bump there I didn't know about. Gathers it back up. Nice save there. That usually goes all sorts of sideways. See what happened to Richard Swindells. He had Sean Drew in behind him. Swindells. So he's going to go through. If we see all kinds of cars will be going off through there. That's the end of the S's before you head into Oak Tree. It's kind of blind, easy, especially on the Porsche Cup cars. They just want to push out wide. See what happened to Morgan Smith. Justin Atchison just up ahead. Lemke up ahead. Greenhoe behind. Similar to what we just saw Swindells do. Austin Diltz. Happened to Diltz. Pressure on the back of Mark Miller. Oh, thought about making a move around the inside. Oh, I'm not sure if he just clipped the wall there or not. Let's see if we can get another angle here to see if Diltz clipped the wall or not on that one. He might have just missed it. Let's see here. Oh, by about 6 inches. About the size of, you know what. It's a nice save there by Diltz. Rowan Bykov. This could be what happened to the end of Bykov. Self spin. Oh, he gathered it up, didn't spin, but went off track. That should be a save. I measured it 3 times. I have to measure it 3 times. Oh, and then he spins again afterwards. So that, folks, is what happens when you do spin the car. You overheat the tires, and if you try and push it too hard after, in iRacing, your tires are just like a donut, freshly glazed donut. They ain't gripping to nothing. Okay, let's see here what happened to Sean Teeter and Oz Exulu. So Teeter in the black monster car, trying to make a move around Cooper. He's going to send it into roller coaster. Oh, Cooper tags the left or right corner. Ooh. Jonathan Cooper may have to take a visit to the steward's booth on that one. Let's take another look at that one from, let's go if we can go Cooper's onboard here. They bump a little bit. Cooper dives in. Oh, we might have to look at chase cam. Teeter might have came across front end. Let's see if we can get, let's go far chase on this one and see what happened here. Let's go to Cooper's side. Bring it in. No overlap. It'll be interesting to see how the stewards rule on that one. Oz Exulu, I think he just tags Teeter as he's sideways here. Exulu is the DeWalt car. Oh no, he gets in the back of Josh Soto. I wish the iRacing would fix that whenever you just bump the back bumper of somebody and then it makes the car spin. There's I've been saying it for years. There's no way that's realistic. Okay, that's all flagging for that incident. Chris Diaz had a bit of an excursion here. Off track there, he gets it gathered up. Nothing really to see there. Fozzie Fazillo. Always coming in way too hot there. Not going to make the corner. Keeps it off the wall. See here for Bike Off battling Sean Giroux. Again, he's going to lose it in that same corner. I can't remember if these guys are running open setup or fixed setups or not. I think it's open setup. Rome. Oh! And the wall. I think this might be a Roman calls it a day. There it is. He clearly needed to run maybe one more wing on the back. Oh, fixed setup confirmed by Zippy. Oh, man. Fixed setup. I ran this fixed setup race 4 times this week. Open once. I'm surprised you guys are losing the back end that much. Fixed setup was very understeery. They must be heading in way too hot, as we see Morgan Smith had a little bit of a slide there. He gets it gathered up. He'll carry on. Paulo Langer went off track. See the battle between Salmon and Lemke up ahead. Langer was trying to stay with it. Oh, threw it into the corner too hard. Nice save, though, not to lose the back end there. It's like Fazillo went off track again. I like the paint on that car. That was an odd one. Oh, that was the final corner. Off camber. It's easy to lose the back end there if you get too hard on the go pedal on those curbs. Tony Phillips. What happened to Tony Phillips here? Say another solo spin, possibly. No, he just runs wide through the final corner. Sean Teeter. Off into the runoff. Tough race for Sean Teeter. He was strong last week at Imola. VIR not as kind to him. We got Sir Zippy. To be honest, I was riding Lemke so long enough. I feel he needs a tattoo when he was watching. You should send him a copy of your Zippy on the mic logo. He can get it tattooed on his rear cheek. Oh, it was Daniel Salmon went off track. Let's take a look here. What happened to Zippy in the chat? As he was feeling some pressure from Langer behind. He's going to do a little lawn maintenance there. Langer holds off instead of trying to throw it around his inside. I would have tucked underneath Zippy and sent him off into the bushes, but that's just me. Paul Bailey. What happened to Paul Bailey here? The Jagermeister car. Oh, he locks it up into Hogpen. Nice save. Gets stopped at least. Paulo Langer off track. Rough day for Paulo. He did as much landscaping as the grounds crew this week. Oh, he locks up the right front and then the left front. He's going to call it a day. Kelly Greenhoe off track. Almost carbon copied what we just saw for Paul Langer, but he pulls it back on. And we got a bunch of pit cycles recycling through here. It's like Sean Giroux had an off-track excursions. I don't know. Cuts across. Luckily, nobody was there. I was struggling on the chicane you didn't like this week. What chicane didn't I like? Oh, the first, yeah. Paul Bailey. Let's see what happened to Paul. Oh, gonna lock it up again. I think that's the same corner we just saw him in earlier. Nope, that's Oak Tree. Morgan Smith off track. The We Build Memories machine building memories of landscaping this week. Nice little save. Just a tire dip. Not much there. Jonathan Cooper in the Cayman. A couple Porsche Cup cars in behind. That was Austin Diltz and Mark Miller going by. They might have just scared Coop off the track by the looks of it there. Wesley Cottonor. Plus, there was a car that iRacing unfortunately sent to oblivion after tapping the back bumper of Phillips earlier on. Paul Bailey. Say another solo spin. We'll skip that. Donald Mensing off track. We saw Donald do a bunch of landscaping. It's probably just one of those. Austin Diltz. What happened to Austin Diltz? He was putting pressure on Mark Miller. See Mark Miller up ahead. Oh, Diltz goes deep. Oh yeah, we reviewed that one during the race. Keeps it off the tire barriers though. Nice save. Nice save. Aaron Sunday heading through the S's. He's gonna cut some grass. Man, we need to put up an Apex this landscaping team. We got enough crews to run a 24-hour shift. A couple 4 or 5 man 12-hour shifts here. Oh, here we go. Daniel Salmon went off track. Let's see what this pleb did. No, tuck it in tight. Too hard on the go pedal. Kisses the wall. Continues on though. That was on lap 19. That was the last lap. What a Muppet. I need to come up with a Muppet Award of the day. The Muppet Award of the day goes to Daniel Zippy Salmon for throwing away a potential P4 and dropping himself down to P5 on the final lap. What else we got here? Donald Mensing went off track. Christopher Diaz went off track. I think that's about it. A couple more tire dips. Oh, looks like Richard Swindells went off track on the last lap. Richard just gonna bin it in turn 1. There he goes. Send it, Rich. Send it. Oh, he's heavy on the brakes. Hi. That did it. That's it from Apex this. Round 4. Where are we again? VIR, Virginia International Raceway. Next week we head to Bolton Park in jolly old England. It'll be interesting to see how multi-class fares there. I've only ran multi-class at Bolton Park a couple times. I think it was in like the production car challenge too. That's 4 different cars on track at the same time. But it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely a tighter layout than VIR, which is already a tight layout. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out here. Best of luck to all our drivers next week. I suspect it will be plenty of content as far as Chaos Theory goes, but until then, bye for now.